Hey guys, Pastor Ryan here, recording the second installment of our Theology Thursday as we are working through the New City Catechism question and answers. Last week we looked at question 1, which is what is our only hope in life and death? And the answer is that we are not our own, but belong body and soul, both in life and death, to God and to our Savior, Jesus Christ. This week we are going to be looking at question number 2, which is what is God? I encourage you guys to go ahead and study this further. Go to newcitycatechism.com or download the app and you will be able to study these. There's resources, kids versions, songs, the supporting scriptures to these answers. I encourage you guys to study that more. Or you can always go ahead and order and buy the book as well to study these. But let's jump right into this second question of what is God? Now, many people answer this differently. Many people want to define him in their own terms or based on their own ideas. Many of you have probably heard something along the lines of, well, I think God is like, or to me, God is like, and then they just want to define him however seems fit to their own mind. But as Christians, we believe that God has revealed himself to us in his word, and that God is the one that gets to define to us who he is. And I think this catechism answer that we're going to look at today briefly is just a great summation of what the Bible declares of who God is. Now, God is not able to be defined simply or just in a couple sentences, but I think this begins to scratch that answer of who God is or what God is, as the question is, what is God? And so as we jump into this, the second answer to what is God, it really is in 3 sentences, and we'll break those down sentence by sentence. But let me read the answer to what is God. God is the creator and sustainer of everyone and everything. He is eternal, infinite, and unchangeable in his power and perfection, goodness and glory, wisdom, justice, and truth. Nothing happens except through him and by his will. Now there's a lot there, but let's unpack those sentence by sentence here briefly to just get a grasp, a big picture of what is God. The first thing is that God is the creator and sustainer of everyone and everything. Now, no matter how people define God, they tend to understand that he is the creator. But many people often leave it at that, and they have this kind of deistic idea, or this idea that God started everything, he set everything in motion, but then he left it to its own devices. But God is not just the creator of everyone and everything. He's also the sustainer of everyone and everything. That means he is sovereign over every leaf that is now beginning to bloom in this springtime. He is the one that makes our heart beat by beat, breath by breath that we are breathing. He is the creator of everything, but he is also sustaining presently all of his creation. The second sentence says he is eternal, infinite, and unchangeable in his power and perfection, goodness and glory, wisdom, justice, and truth. Now, there's a lot of things in there, but I just want to say that, summarize that in saying that God, him and his attributes are eternal and unchanging. Not only is God eternal, but who he is, his attributes, his nature, his character is unchanging. He is the solid rock. He is the firm foundation. Not only will he last forever, but who he is, his person, his nature, his being is unchanging. His grace, his glory, his wisdom, his goodness, all those things, they're firmly fixed and they are unchanging. And lastly, this final sentence, it says, nothing happens except through him and by his will. Our God is in control. He is in control of coronavirus. He is in control of the economy. He is in control of our politicians and our political leaders. He is in control of our retirement accounts. He is in control of our family. Nothing happens except through him and by his will. And as we learned last week in the first question and answer, that as believers, we belong to him. And if we are his possession and he is in control and his goodness and mercy and righteousness and holiness is unchanging and eternal, then we can have great reason for confidence in this season. So Faith Church, I hope that you know that you are loved not just by our church, but by our God who is unchanging and who is in control. I hope you take heart in that in the midst of this season. This is the second week of Theology Thursday. Thanks, guys.